You cannot come to a district like Kannauj and not delve into its regal allure. We all know about its rich cultural heritage and the significance it has held in a state like Uttar Pradesh. And today I'm in the presence of royalty itself, Mr. Singh, the King of Tirwa, a small town in Kannauj. He is also known fondly as Raja Sahib. So Mr. Singh, why don't you start, with telling me about the history of this palace where we're sitting right now and a little bit about yourself.
Well, first I'll tell you about the palace. First we used to all stay in the fort, which was a little away from here. And this palace was built in 1929. Mainly this was a sort of a guest house. It has about 8 bedrooms, drawing, dining, billiard room. This was a place for entertainment, where all the parties used to be held, where the governor's garden parties used to be held. We had these tennis courts, a little swimming pool. So, well, it was built in 1929.
What is architecture?
Architecture is again mixed. The little bit of, you won't find the Mughal influence here in this palace. More of a British kind of a setup, built more like a hotel, like a modern hotel.
Okay. So how has royalty evolved in Uttar Pradesh?
See, we've been here since 1109. In Kannauj, and my ancestors during the reign of Aurangzeb, he was given the title of Raja, and with a mansab of 3,000. Mansab used to be where you could sort of a 3,000 army was stationed here.
In Tirwa?
Yes, for which he was the sole ruler or in charge, and where required by the Mughals, the army had to move.
So Tirwa has held some historical significance in that sense?
Yes, obviously, because you see, at one time Kannauj was the capital of the country during the time of Jayachand. This was the capital, so it has a lot of heritage and culture and what have you.
Okay, and are there any historical figures here that someone would recognize or must have read about?
Well, the recent would be my grandfather at the most. That's him. He has fought in the First World War and the Second World War. He enlisted as a lieutenant, and after the 1919, when the First War, he was only 19 years old when he enlisted. 1919, when the First World War finished, he sort of left the army. He took an early retirement and left the army to look after the state. And again, when the Second World War came, he enlisted again as a major. And after the war, he left again. And during the time of the First and the Second World Wars, Tirwa, whatever you see today, I mean, it was entirely his doing. The hospitals here, the palaces, or everything was his doing. We have an inter-college a huge place, which was built in 1923. Before the notification for inter-college came in 1925 in UP, but it was already there in 1923. So he wanted the people to be educated around here. They should be educated and to do well in life.
We saw an interesting billiards room. There's a facade with a garden and everything. Do you have any interesting stories about the?
Well, we have the fountains right here in front, and both these sides used to be the rose gardens, and where the garden parties used to be held when the governors or the viceroy, whenever they visited here. We had the tennis courts, that side where they played tennis. And like I told you, this house was a part of for entertainment.
And I heard about your association with the ex-president, former president of the country.
Well, the former president, Dr. Zakir Hussain, he was from our district, Farrukhabad. And this district, fortunately or unfortunately, whatever you can say, there was only one Raja in this district, and that was the Raja of Tirwa. So we were well known. And when he was the president, he used to call my father over to the Rashtrapati Bhavan in Delhi, and almost every week he used to call him over, come and meet me. Although my father was a lot junior to him, he was my grandfather's colleague. And they would sit down and talk about things, and things like, you know, how are things in Tirwa, how are things in Delhi. There was a time when they were developing diplomatic enclave, what is known as Chanakyapuri today in Delhi. That was being developed. So Dr. Zakir Hussain told my father, this is a very interesting anecdote, why don't you buy some land here in Delhi? Buy some land here, because tomorrow is going to give you a lot of money if you want money, or whatever, you can build a house or whatever you want to do. But this is going to be the prime area of Delhi one day. So my father said, listen, I've got so much of property in Tirwa itself which I can't look after. What am I going to do here? Why should I buy property which I can't look after? And today you can imagine the price of Chanakyapuri. So these were the things, you know, he was not too far-sighted to see.
This palace must have hosted like a lot of interesting people also, right? A lot of interesting figures. Do you know of any?
Well, a lot of the governors who were in UP. UP at that time was not Uttar Pradesh, it was the United Provinces of Agra and Awadh. So we were part of Agra. And the governor was stationed at Lucknow, obviously. So whoever was the governor used to come over. And in 1937, when the first interim government of UP was formed, my grandfather was a minister for local self-government in that ministry. He was a man of vision, and he had his hands in a lot of things. Really, but unfortunately he died very young. He was only 49 when he died. Otherwise it would have been a different picture altogether, maybe.
So, you know, when people think about royalty in, say, Lucknow, they think about Nawabs, right? So, are you involved in any, say, community outreach?
Nawabs are basically from the Muslim community.
Yeah.
They are Nawabs. Some were given the title of Nawab, some Raja. Not all Muslims were Nawabs. Some were given the title of Raja, some of the ruling states were Maharajas. So that is how it goes. The hierarchy was there. I still run my colleges. I have a post-graduate college in Fatehgarh, which was our district headquarters, like I told you. And I have an inter-college here. I am the president of both. I run those colleges. That's about it. When you have landed property, you have a lot of problems with them. Some encroachment, lot of encroachment, and a whole lot of problems. So to sort them out, I have to keep coming here once in a while.
So those are like some of the challenges of keeping this palace running.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you so much for hosting us in
Thank
this
you so
grand
much for
palace.
coming over, and nice
Thank
to have
you.
you all here.
Yeah. Thank
Hope
you.
you enjoyed your stay and
Yeah, first of all, we cannot believe that we're in the presence of royalty. So, and I don't think any trip would have been complete without.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.